This is a commission-based business. You can make a lot of money in it. You can also make no money in it. And the level of discomfort that you're willing to put up with is the level of success that you'll have. It's split into two. There's the buyer side. That's representing the buyers. Typically, that's called the selling agent. So you got the selling agent and the listing agent, essentially. And these are two completely different people a lot of the times. Most people that are new to the business start working with buyers. This is much more mental labor as far as making sure that the house is priced well and being really good at the marketing of the house, as well as pricing strategies. And there's a lot on the listing agent's shoulders to make sure that the house is sold. If it's a bad listing agent, the house won't sell, or it will sell for significantly less or for not as favorable terms to a seller. Yeah, this is more like you're like labor intensive. And you're not like moving sticks and stones, but you're meeting with buyers and then you're getting them in your car or they're following you. You're going to listings. So as a buyer's agent, it's a lot easier because the price has already been established. What I like about real estate is it sells itself. The sales that we do is convincing people to work with us. But once they're convinced to work with us, the homes sell themselves. Yeah, it's like, if they don't like it, no matter how great of a salesperson you are, they're not gonna wanna buy the house. And if they do, then they'll just back out 3 days later. It's selling in a different way. Both require a high level of consistency. I think that's the number one thing that's gonna drive whether or not you are gonna be successful is, do you show up consistently? I call it SWOT, which is the 100. So SWOT means sell what's available today. So in order to do that, during launch, the first 90 days where you work here, assuming you work here, is you need to go preview 100 homes. And the reason we want you to preview 100 homes is you're gonna get good at all the basic things like using Google Maps. These are all the places you have to go. Maybe these are all the homes you need to see. A lot of people, especially when they're new, will do that. And that is called being a star realtor. And it's super stupid because you could just do this and then get to where you need to go. So planning your routes is a huge one. You work through all these really dumb details to prevent you from looking like an idiot when you finally have a buyer, you've sold them on working with you, and you can't figure out how to open a door because you didn't do it 100 times before, you've done it twice. And the third time is live, and they're like, you can't open the door, we got issues, right? But if you do your 100 houses, you're gonna be able to map it out, and then you'll know when you take someone on a tour on a Saturday and wanna look at 10, you'll know when you can get to each house because you can figure out how long it's gonna take, how much time they're gonna spend there, and then you also know what's for sale. If you go look at 100 homes, you'll sell one of those homes. And then the better you are at being a buyer's agent, the better you will be as a seller's agent later. Like I do both. I mostly work with sellers, but every once in a while I get out with some buyers because then I can go see, you walk through the homes and you can see what the other agents' marketing materials look like. You can see if they're staging things. You can see how things are priced, or you start to understand why one is priced this way and one's priced that way. Maybe it's a stinky house or it backs up to a busy road. By looking at homes, repping buyers, then when you go to meet with sellers, you'll have more context to understand why you need to price things and what other people are doing to make sure that you're competitive. In order for us to get clients, we have to let people know that we're in real estate, which typically involves some sort of contact. If you're able to make contacts, you know who to say it to, and you say the right thing, you say it enough times, then you'll be able to start setting appointments. And that's typically where we want to get people into the office to get to know them and to see what their real estate goals are and how we can help them achieve those goals and if we're a good fit. So during the appointment, I always tell the prospective client, like, this is a two-way street. You're interviewing me to see if I'm a good fit to be your real estate agent, and I'm interviewing you to make sure that I think I can do you a good job. In order to get the appointments right, you got to know what to say. We have people every day that are looking at homes and they register on our website and say, I want to buy a house. And so then we have to then reach out to them, hopefully within 5 minutes of them registering, because they're on the website and they're like, hey, I want to buy a house. But if we don't call them back for 2 days, they've probably been on 10 other websites and they don't know who we are anymore. So when we call them, we have to know what to say. Right? Like, how do we introduce ourselves? What do you say when they say the market sucks? What do you say when they say interest rates are too high? Or they're waiting for the market to crash? Or their uncle said this about that and that about this. So that's where like the scripting comes in. And we do that every morning. We do a little role play to help figure out what are people complaining about today. Almost everything I say is a script. Someone else has said it really well, and then I said it a whole bunch of times until it just became, yeah. And so that's the point of you have to practice this stuff. And this is the same thing with real estate. It's gonna be super awkward at first because everything's new. So figure it the fuck out. There's a lot of fake it till you make it. Like some of the craziest transactions I've done, I'm like low-key Googling how to, run valuations on a hotel restaurant. I know the general concepts. I've owned and ran multiple businesses, and I buy and sell commercial real estate. I own, so you've got all the stuff, then you got to like put it together. So yeah, there's a lot of FITFO, right? We knew there was a hole in the property management space, so we started a property management company. Still don't quite have it figured out, but I know more than most property managers do because I've owned real estate since 2009. You've run businesses before. This will be different, but the same. You've been in lending, right? This will be different, but the same. It's still people, right? There's still money being transacted. There's still questions. You still have to be known. At the end of the day, if no one knows what you do, there's no possible way they'll do business with you. So that's always the number one thing. If you can't get anyone to work with you or to trust you or to choose you as a real estate agent, you don't need to know how to show a house. You don't need to know how to write a contract because you're dead in the water. At the end of the day, it's the market, right? So the market dictates whether or not you're doing the right activities, right? The market dictates how many clients that you currently get. If you suck, the market will tell you you suck and you will have no business. If you are good, the market will respond, you are good, and you will have lots of business. Because the market doesn't care. It doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care the color of your skin. It doesn't care what language you speak. The market is there and it will speak. And the market exists in all things, right? There's guys that spend $100 million on a movie, right? They make this movie, they think it's gonna be awesome, and it's a flop at the box office. That's the market, right? Some people went and saw it and said, this movie blows. And then like on Netflix at the bottom of the list, they spent all the money, but the market spoke. And so the same thing comes in this business and in all businesses. If you're good, the market will preach to you. And if you're bad, it also will preach to you. So that ultimately is the main determining factor is the market. Can you find a market for your services? Interesting though, like it's not one individual person that decides this. It's like, so there's like a consensus, a general consensus, get out of real estate, or you're amazing, you should stay into real estate. And then we just let it play out. But I'm always available for coaching and to make calls with people. Every morning I'm like, hey, we're gonna hit the phones. Anyone wanna join me? Okay, let the market speak. So this is the formula that Cass talked about, formulaically. So, and this holds pretty too. If you make 1,000 calls, you'll probably make 100 contacts. 1 in 10 people on average will answer the phone. You'll have some sort of dialogue with them. Out of the 100 contacts, 1 in 10 of those people would agree to an appointment, because we know that 1 in 23 people are going to buy or sell in the next 12 months. So if you talk to 1,000 people, 1 in 23 are going to make a move for whatever reason. Maybe right now it's 1 in 24, but it doesn't change that much. It's pretty stable data. So I ring 1,000, 100 pick up, 10 allow me to set an appointment, but on average, half the people that agree to meet with you will no-show you, which then leaves you for 5. Now, my ratio is much higher. I'd probably say it's 9 out of 10. Sometimes shit happens, but like formulaic purposes, 1,000, 110, 5, right? And then 3 of these people will sign with you and 2 of them will close. So then you can simply say, for every 1,000 calls I'll make, I'll close 2 deals. So if I want to close 2 deals a month, I need to make 1,000 calls a month. Or maybe you're amazing and you don't make calls, but you just straight hit contacts. Maybe you go knock on doors, ask people if they're interested in buying or selling. So if you don't want to make the calls, you got to make the contacts. Somehow you've got to make contacts though. And at this point, what I'm nuking today is both of these, and all we're concentrating on now is appointments. I don't give a shit how, but you need to have 2 appointments a week if you want to be successful, right? 2 appointments held a week will guarantee your success. If you have 2 appointments, so ideally it's 1 listing appointment, so you're meeting with a seller to talk about selling, and 1 buyer appointment, you meet with a new buyer to talk about buying, you will close 25 to 40 homes a year. You'll make $200,000 a year if you do 2 appointments a week. Set appointments. That's all you got to do. This is a commission-based business. You can make a lot of money in it. You can also make no money in it. And the level of discomfort that you're willing to put up with is the level of success that you'll have. The more comfortable you want to be, the less success you will have in this business. So he better be working those leads that come in, people calling on his signs, putting them in his database, and then following up with them to build a business outside of the one client that he has. Right? So that's the opportunity we have. Every time that you do get uncomfortable, you get all the way down to a closing, we put them in our client retention system and we ask them for business and we give them gifts and we invite them to our events and they get free car washes and coffee, and we stay in touch with them because they've done business with us and they're going to refer us if we can stay in touch with them. But it starts with getting uncomfortable for about 2 years. First 2 years, if you do what most people are not willing to do, you'll have amazing success.